An ordinary Elliott wave swing trader is discussing wave count secrets. An ordinary Elliott wave swing trader is discussing wave count secrets. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, bonjour, bonsoir mes amis, guten Morgen, guten Tag, guten Abend. For those of you who are new to us, we are the TSTW 24 trader. For Elliott wave trading, our website is www.24elliottwaves.com. The title of the video is An ordinary Elliott wave swing trader is discussing wave account secrets. In this tutorial, we want to continue with the discussion that we have started in the first video that we titled An Elliott wave day trader reveal a wave secrets. We want to talk about the correlation between the daily chart and the monthly chart, talking about the Elliott wave fractal pattern on the daily chart and the monthly chart. We want to compare the weekly chart and the quarterly charts, the monthly charts and the yearly charts. We want to compare the wave count on a higher degree to the wave count on a lower degree, or we want to compare the wave patterns on the lower degree to the wave counts on a higher degree, or we want to compare the Elliott wave count on a lower time frame to a higher time frame. But as a swing trader, we want to concentrate on a daily chart and a monthly chart, or the weekly chart and the quarterly chart, monthly chart and the yearly chart. All right, so we are not a day trader in this case. We are a swing trader. We are concentrating on the medium term trend. As a day trader, one will concentrate on a short term trend. As a swing trader, one is concentrating on a medium term trend. All right, the fluctuation within the medium term trend. This is about a swing trading. An investor will concentrate on the fluctuation on the long-term trend. All right, so an investor is looking at the long-term trend. A swing trader is concentrating on the medium-term trend. A day trader is concentrating on the short-term trend. It makes sense? So talking about an ordinary Elliott wave swing trader is discussing wave count secrets. Over the year, I have observed the price, the number one indicator. I have been using the Elliott wave patterns for swing trading purposes, and I have noticed a correlation between the daily chart and the monthly chart, a correlation between the wave patterns on the weekly chart and the quarterly chart, the correlation between the monthly chart wave patterns and the yearly chart wave patterns. This is about wave count secret. It is my secret that I'm willing to share with you today because you are my friend. Let's get started. So what are we talking about? We know that the Elliott wave patterns are fractal patterns. So what do I mean by that? When we say that a pattern is fractal, it means that we can see the same pattern on different time frames. So when we say that the Elliott wave patterns are fractal pattern, so we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves on the 5-minute time frame. All right, the ratio between the first wave and the second wave, the ratio between the fourth wave and the third wave, the ratio between the fourth wave and the fifth wave can copy itself, can be duplicated on another time frame. We can see exactly the same pattern on another time frame. This is about the fractal nature of the wave patterns. It makes sense? All right, don't get confused. If you are a new trader, stay with us. So suppose we have like this a pattern that is X. All right, We see this pattern on a 5-minute time. No, we are talking about swing trading. We see this pattern on a daily chart. Okay. All right. It's a pattern that has been formed on a daily chart. We see it like this. Okay. But the same pattern, if it's a fractal pattern, we are likely to see the same pattern again on a daily chart. Okay. And the same pattern, we can see it again on a weekly chart, on a quarterly chart, on a yearly chart. It's a pattern that is forming on different time frames. A pattern that is forming on a different time frames is a fractal pattern. And the Elliott wave patterns are fractal patterns. We can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves on the daily chart, and we can count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves on the weekly chart, monthly chart, quarterly chart, and yearly chart. All right? But for the purpose of this video, talking about wave count secret for a swing trader, we have observed that if we count 5 waves on a daily chart, so first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth wave, and a fifth wave like this on a daily chart, that is a motive wave. So from the beginning of the first wave up to the end of the fifth wave, we have a motive wave. This is what we call the trending phase, because the Elliott wave cycle is formed of the trending phase, which is the motive wave, plus the corrective phase, which is A, B, C. So on my charts, the orange lines form the motive wave. The pink line is form the corrective phase. The corrective phase has been divided into A, B, C. That's the general rule. There are more to the corrective waves patterns, okay? So the Elliott wave cycle is starting from the beginning of the trending phase up to the end of the corrective phase. The first swing trading secret for a wave trader, the first wave count secret for a swing trader is that the motive wave, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves on a daily chart very often will correspond to an impulsive wave on the monthly chart. There is a correlation between the daily chart and the monthly chart, talking about the Elliott wave patterns. So the motive wave on the daily chart very often will correspond to a single impulsive wave on the monthly charts. Furthermore, a corrective phase on a daily chart very often will correspond to a corrective wave, a single corrective wave on a monthly chart. Why this is so important for us as a swing trader to know? So we are on a daily chart, we count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves, which is a motive wave. We know that very often after the fifth wave, we have a correction in the form of ABC. Can be a flat correction, but the general rule, we just talk about ABC, can be a flat correction or a sharp correction. But in this case, we are talking about ABC corrective wave to correct the motive wave, all right? The corrective phase on a daily chart will correspond very often to a corrective wave on a monthly chart. So if we are at the beginning of a trend, I need to clarify this because I don't want you to get confused. This is so important. If we are at the beginning of a trend, on a daily chart, the motive wave on a daily chart will correspond to the first wave on a monthly chart. Now, I believe that you did not get that right, I need to say this again. It's so important to understand it because beginning of the trend can happen when we see a breakout after the consolidation zone, the price at a cycle point, or an Elliott wave cycle in fact is completed and a new cycle is about to begin. That's why I need to explain this again. If we are at the beginning of a trend and we have counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves on the daily charts, that is a multi-wave on a daily chart. The multi-wave on that daily chart, if we are at the beginning of a new trend, will correspond to the first wave on the daily chart. On the monthly chart, repeat, the multi-wave on a daily chart will correspond to the first wave on a monthly chart if we are at the beginning of a trend. So we are at the beginning of the trend on a daily chart, price breakout of the consolidation zone, or price at a cycle point, and we see first wave, second wave, third wave, fourth wave, and a fifth wave. Now, because we want to master the wave count, okay? So we counted 5 waves on a daily chart, so what's going to happen next? The purpose of the wave principle is to forecast the next price move. But if we do not understand the correlation between the different time frame or the wave fractals, the correlation between the higher degree and the lower degree, if we do not understand that the wave pattern is a fractal patterns, we can get confused. So we may count the wave on a daily chart, and that's it. And we don't know what's going to happen next. We get lost, okay? But if we want, we can follow the price from the 5-minute time frame up to the yearly time frame, okay? Going just following the wave patterns, all right? So that's why you need to understand what we are trying to do here, because it's a bit advanced area wave education here, all right? So we counted 5 waves on the daily chart. We are, as a swing trader, we know that a correction will take place on a daily chart. 1, 2, 3, or a flat correction, a correction will take place. As the correction is completed, we know that area wave cycle is completed on a daily chart. So what's the next move? What's the next step in our wave count? All right. In order to know exactly, or to put together, to connect the dots, so to speak, we need to understand that very often the multi-wave on the daily chart will correspond to an impulsive wave on a monthly chart. But if we are at the beginning of a new trend on a daily chart, the multi-wave on a daily chart will correspond to the first wave on a monthly chart. And the corrective phase on a daily chart will correspond to the second wave on a monthly chart. So we counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave, 1, 2, 3 on a daily chart. So we have finished to count one area wave cycle on a daily chart. We need to change time frame to continue our wave count. Okay, so a cycle is completed on the daily chart. We must switch our time frame now from the daily chart to the monthly chart. But we know that the multi-wave on the daily chart, if we are at the beginning of a new trend, we correspond to the first wave on the monthly chart, and the corrective phase on the daily chart will correspond to the second wave on the monthly chart. So on the daily chart, we counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3. The cycle is completed on the daily chart. We switch time frame to the monthly chart. Now on the monthly chart, what do we have? We have only 2 waves. First wave and the second wave. Because the first wave that we see on the monthly chart corresponds to the multi-wave on the daily chart. Very often, if we are at the beginning of a new trend, the general rules is that a multi-wave on the daily chart will correspond to an impulsive wave on the monthly chart. A corrective phase on a daily chart will correspond to a corrective wave on the monthly chart. So from the beginning of the first wave up to the end of the fifth wave on a daily chart, that's the first wave on a monthly chart. From the beginning of the corrective wave up to the end of the corrective wave, that's the second wave on the monthly chart. If we are at the beginning of a new trend. But the general rule is that a multi-wave on a daily chart will correspond to an impulsive wave on a monthly chart, and a corrective phase on a daily chart will correspond to a corrective wave on a monthly chart. The same observation, talking about the fractal nature of the wave patterns, is also true if we counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave on a weekly chart. That multi-wave on a weekly chart will correspond to an impulsive wave on a quarterly chart. And a corrective phase on a weekly chart will also correspond to a corrective wave on a quarterly chart. By pushing my observation a little bit deeper, I have also noticed that a corrective phase on a monthly chart very often will correspond to an impulsive wave on a yearly chart. And a corrective phase on a monthly chart will correspond to a corrective wave on a yearly chart. What do I mean by that? So we on a monthly chart, for instance, we counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves on a monthly chart. That's a multi-wave. A multi-wave on a monthly chart will correspond to a single impulsive wave on a yearly chart. And a corrective phase on a monthly chart will correspond to a single corrective wave on a yearly chart. The same is also true when we are talking about a weekly chart and a quarterly chart. In this case, the daily chart is the lower degree and the monthly chart is the higher degree. The weekly chart is also the lower degree in relation to the quarterly chart. The monthly chart is the lower degree in relation to the yearly chart. There is a correlation between the wave pattern on a daily chart and a monthly chart, and a correlation between the wave structure on the weekly chart and the quarterly chart wave count. By counting the waves on a monthly chart, we can deduct the next price move on the yearly chart. It makes sense? It is also powerful. This is about an ordinary Elliott wave swing trader is discussing wave count secret. Very often, a lot of traders, when they are counting Elliott wave, they get stuck because they count the Elliott wave and they don't know what to do next. By understanding the fractal nature of the wave pattern, by understanding that the wave patterns are fractal patterns, one is able to deduct, from the previous wave count, the next price move. It's all adding together, and we can connect the dot from one time frame to another time frame. And here, in this video, I'm revealing to you the wave count secret, the correlation between the daily chart and the monthly chart, weekly chart, quarterly chart, monthly chart, yearly chart. For a new trader, for somebody who is watching this video for the first time, or you are not an advanced Elliott wave trader, it's very easy, to get a little bit excited or to rush and make a lot of mistakes. Take a time, go to www.24elliottwave.com, click on Wave Count Guidelines. Click on how to count Elliott wave. Know how to count waves, understand the wave count guidelines, so you do not get confused. Check the video on our homepage, of 24 Elliott wave about a fractal Elliott wave, a fractal nature video ladder, This will clarify what we are discussing here, There are more to this that we can talk about, but we don't want the video to be too long. So if you have any question, put it below, and we'll get back to you, all right? You have any comment, put it below. There is something you do not understand, ask a specific question, and I will give you a specific answer, All right? To summarize this video, it's very simple. 5 waves on a daily chart forming a multi-wave can represent an impulsive wave on a monthly chart. A corrective phase on a daily chart can correspond to a corrective wave, a single corrective wave on a monthly chart. The same is also true when we see a multi-wave on a weekly chart. That multi-wave can correspond to an impulsive wave on a quarterly chart. A corrective phase on a weekly chart can correspond to a corrective wave on the quarterly chart. The same is also true for a monthly chart and a yearly chart. All right? It makes sense? It is also powerful. As a swing trader, we want to profit from the medium-term trend. We are using a daily chart, weekly chart, monthly chart. But when we are counting Elliott wave on a daily chart, weekly chart, monthly chart, we should be able, after counting 5 waves and a corrective phase, after an Elliott wave cycle, we should be able to switch time frame to a higher time frame, okay, in order to continue with our wave count. Very often, a lot of traders get stuck. They do not know the next thing to do, or they don't know where to look or what to look for in order, okay, to continue with their wave count, and they get confused. By understanding the correlation between, okay, different time frame and the fractal nature of the wave pattern, one is likely to make a better, okay, wave count. You need to understand that I also say to traders that if we are at the beginning of a new trend, okay, the multi-wave on the daily chart very often will correspond to the first wave on the monthly chart. And if we are at the beginning of a new trend and we see a corrective phase on the daily chart, that corrective phase is likely to correspond to the second wave on a monthly chart. The same is also true on the weekly chart. Okay, we are at the beginning of a new trend, we see 5 waves. That 5 wave is very often, okay, the first wave on the quarterly chart. We are the monthly chart, we counted 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 waves. If we are at the beginning of a new trend, repeat, if we are at the beginning of a new trend, that multi-wave on a monthly chart will correspond to the first wave on the yearly chart. If you like this video, please give us the thumbs up. If you dislike it, please give us the thumbs down. But please put a comment below why you disagree with us. Or if there is something else we need to improve, please tell us. Your feedback is very, very important for us, okay? If you love this video, feel free to share it on Google+, on Twitter, and also on Facebook. If you love our videos, feel free to subscribe to our channels. This is the end of this video about an ordinary Elliott wave swing trader is discussing wave count secrets. Until the next time, enjoy yourself and be very happy. We are the TSTW 24 traders talking about an ordinary Elliott wave trader. An ordinary Elliott wave swing trader is discussing wave secrets, wave count secrets. Speak to you soon.